Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today another speedrun video where we'll try to, you know, improve our mood by playing chess. And today I'm feeling a bit frisky. I'm gonna play c4. Don't know anything about this opening, so bear with me. And our opponent doesn't know much either, so that's nice. So g6. G6, you know, a move. It's a move. It's a move. And well, let's just play very boring principal chess and just strike in the center with d4. And this way we can transpose into many different systems. Bishop d7, developing the bishop on a long diagonal. I think we can play e4. The whole opening is around the center, so if he allows it, why don't we just create the center, right? Opponent thinking. Knight c6, aiming at d4. Now this is something we should, think about. How are we gonna protect the pawn? Are we just gonna push? But then knight d4 comes, and things aren't looking that good, in my opinion. You can also just play a developing move like knight f3. Knight f3. If this, we can play e5. If this, I don't know. If this, we can just continue development with bishop e3, I would say. Can also develop the knight this way. I'm not sure either. You can also develop the bishop to e3, which is the most flexible approach here, I think. So let's just do that. Because I'm not sure if I want a knight on f3, or here. And since I'm not sure, but I'm sure that the bishop belongs on e3, I just put the bishop on e3, guarding the pawn, which makes sense. Which makes sense. All right, e6. And what I see now is a lot of dark square weaknesses. We could try to take advantage of that on the long term. Usually when I see something like this, you could already think of h4, h5. So let's say h4 now, knight f6. E5, knight h5, and then g4 would trap the knights. Looks actually quite good. What else does he have? d6. And what does the move actually do? I forgot to even consider. It opens up the diagonal for the queen, but I don't feel like any of these squares are that dangerous. Also have knight c6, just normal developing move, but it doesn't do anything, in my opinion. I think this does more than knight c3, as weird as that sounds. Thanks, Talu. How do you even press pause? It's very weird. I don't see it. Settings. So he plays h5, stopping h4, h5. It's a very good move, I think. But even so, it creates more of these weaknesses we just talked about. So, yeah, you cannot play knight f6 anymore because then bishop g5 is coming with the idea of this, I would say. But if you, for example, replay this, he plays this, replay this pawn is not hanging because the knight is interfering the line. Okay, so that's a bad move. So he will probably do this. He will probably play knight e7. That's the only logical move I see for him. And what I definitely don't want to do is develop mindlessly. So, hmm, how do we really get this going? Knight c3, knight c3, knight e7, knight f3, castles, bishop g, knight g5. No, knight f3, knight e7. Wait, I have a better idea. I'm just coming up with it. Knight c3, knight e7, e5, castles, knight e4. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. So we play knight c3. And we would have played this anyways, but now we know why we play it. Because we want to play e5, and then we want to go scoot, and then get control over this f6 square. So knight e7, e5, castles, knight e4, also g4 possible. Yeah, knight f6 possible. Like a lot is possible now. We can also wait a little bit, but I'm impatient. Let's go for e5. So yeah, our opponent in the first few moves gave up the center, and because he gives the center, we can go for e5. Now the knight has a potential square here, and I'm not even sure if he's gonna go there, but it's nice to have an option. He immediately, responds to it, and yeah, did not consider this, obviously, obviously, obviously. But I feel like f4 is even a move here. F4 could even be a great move because f takes. If d4, I don't care. Yeah. So here, 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 all sorts of plans. Hopefully I did not miss a move. But this looks, f4 might not be the best move because it opens the diagonal of the king. But it might definitely be what, um, unpleasant for the opponent. Now do notice that the knight now can go to f5, which is actually quite unpleasant. But even so, we can just drop back to d2. We want to keep the bishop. Usually, in these type of positions, what I mean by these type of positions, while the bishop is fianched shadowed, very strong, we need this bishop to be there to negate the effects of the bishop on g7. So if knight f5 occurs, we just drop back the bishop for a little bit. Yes, we do drop the pawn in that case. So maybe maybe we're already losing actually. Maybe we're already not doing so great. Knight f5 would be quite unpleasant. But he doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't do that. He feels the pressure, I hope. Oh, he doesn't. He is, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Total misplay by me, but I do see a refutation, luckily. Luckily, which doesn't work. And a refutation that doesn't work is always nice. Um, yeah, I guess we just, this thread is too strong, but it does open. Okay, let's clarify things. I think we're actually worse here because I missed knight f5. So yeah, that's what it is. We're gonna lose this pawn, or we're gonna lose this pawn. And the reason why we lose it is because we lacked the development. Let's say the knight was here, everything would have been fine. Knight f3 is such an after move. I didn't play it. But now we just have to look for the best way to continue this worst line. And I think the best way is to go bishop g5. After queen takes, there is knight takes, potentially. Long castles. So we stop the other knight takes. And if he takes with this knight, long castles, okay, be my guest. We are down a pawn. It is what it is. We are not good at, yeah, we're not professional chess players, unfortunately, but yeah, we have to make do with what we have now. I think this is the best line, the best worst line there is. So takes, I think take, but there might be a possibility that knight f3 is also perfectly playable. After takes, castle. Yeah, we're down a pawn, but we're down a pawn actually. There's nothing else to it. So I guess we just take a long castle, get the king into safety, and try to get back into the game some way, somehow. What I'm thinking. And this is usually what happens when I think I'm setting up educational content, but in reality, I'm not. So I'm expecting bishop takes, knight f3, takes. Yeah, that would also be quite unpleasant. So we're down actually two full pawns now. Two full pawns. Knight takes on e5 would be a mistake because of rook takes e4. And yeah, we actually just are on the back pedal here and we just have to be patient. Hopefully our opponent will make a mistake. We'll try to evoke mistakes. Obviously, we'll try to make it difficult. But things are as they are. We cannot change the position as it is. It's a bit shitty, but we'll try to make the most of it. And my idea now is to go b4, b5. But I wonder if that works because the knight would then be quite on an awkward place. So let's say before you might already have this idea, and then after takes, there's takes. So let's move the knights away first. There's a potential knight f6 check when castles. And if your takes, we have the bishop pair, which is at least something. Which is at least something. Hmm. do feel quite optimistic about our chances, mainly because our opponent is taking his time. It is a queenless middle game, so things are not gonna be decided in 2 or 3 moves. It will be quite a long grind, and if he managed to keep up with good moves in a relatively short time, I think we're good. Okay. So I'm feeling like some chances are f5, by the way, not f4. I feel like some chances are rising up to the table. Um, you have before ideas, but okay, let's first analyze what the opponent is doing. You played f4. Sorry, you played f5. Weakening up these 2 pawns. This pawn is still protected. This one isn't. Can we do something with it? Nah. He's also attacking the knights. But the knight can jump in here. After it takes, we are definitely doing well, so he won't take, assumingly, and goes king f7, turning the knight again. That would be quite annoying, and I don't want to do that. So after knight f6, king f7, I'm thinking we're not doing well, so we might as well go to a different place. Knight c5. Hopefully not blundering anything, and maybe going back to d3 when the time is ripe. Could also consider, you know, going somewhere else, but it is what it is. And the idea of b4, b5 is now not actually feasible anymore, because the knight is blocking that way. And he did that, but can still um, well, I think we could just go here, attack a pawn which we identified as a weakness, and he will have to adapt his ways of playing to that. Still doing fine on time. It used to be 3 minutes that we had against his 4 minutes, but now it has it's starting to turn the tables in terms of time, where we both are starting to get equal on time and low on time, and anything could happen. So it takes. I'm looking at this knight, and this knight is not really doing great. If you could attack it again, this doesn't work. Or we could chase away the defender. I think we're doing fine. He does, however, do this move, which is actually a very fine move. Let's put the bishop here on a strong, long diagonal, which makes sense to me. And we're equal on time. Position is still worse. He's making some massive progress on the king side, so we definitely have to be careful. I think our plan will be somewhere in the lines of a3, b4, b5. But now that this knight is actually quite stabilized on d4, it's quite hard to come up with something. So let's play a3. I don't think our plan actually works, but for lack of better, um, you know, we have to pretend like we know what we're doing in these sort of situations. So let's go here, going for this. And look at us now, having a 1 minute advantage, but now we really actually need to take our time to make sure we maintain this lead in time and that we keep grinding away small advantages. Just, just. Okay, knight here. That's actually a good move. That's actually quite a good move. That's actually quite a good move. So now what? I want to chip away on this pawn. If I go here with the knight, he can just take. But maybe it's an idea to go here with the knight and chip away that way. Also notice he has some checks, but he goes for that. Goes for that. Well, we'll just continue with the plan. I hope this doesn't, kill everything we have. Hmm. Going for this check knight. And, in and of itself, I don't think it's dangerous. Perhaps it is. Here, check. Here, check. Perhaps it is, but we don't know. Let's go here. We give away the pawn, but yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. Now knight here, defending this square because he's threatening some ideas there. Gets a check. Let's fend off this check. Takes. Expecting knight here. Then just back. Sorry, rook c2. Then just back. Goes there instead. Which is also fine, I guess. King here, perhaps g3. He doesn't. So now we could go for this pawn. And he still has the better position, but at least we have some counterplay. We're going for this pawn now. And he's low on time, so. Twenty seconds left. Doesn't see the threat. And goes for his own. Which makes sense, but we're gonna grab some pawns. Here we just give another check. And we'll defend the pawn, making sure he doesn't have any good ideas actually of what to do. So that definitely helps, and we are just pushing this one now. So he goes for that one. I think we should just start pushing here. Here takes here, check. Let's say here, check, then I take, so that's not a move. But anything else? Okay, let's go here. I could just already push like a madman. Also, I could have just taken the rook. So I guess, time pressure also affects me. Nevertheless, we're still playing fine. We're still playing as fine. And again, if he goes here, now we do take. Now we do realize that he dropped the knight, the rook there. And yeah, I think the moral of the story is that time pressure affects everyone, especially me. Let's just push this one. He's gonna sack it probably. And now well, actually, I missed another one. It baffles me how much I miss. But now we do sis, and we just take this one. No, we don't. Not immediately. Yeah. Can also go for this pawn now. Just play this slow game. So we're trading both this and this. Didn't see that he could attack my rook with his king. So that's a bit of a pity. He is definitely, yeah, he's definitely losing his cool. I'm definitely losing my cool as well. And yeah, let's see. Should have just taken with check and then taken the. Oh, wow. Such simple things I miss. Let's just keep it simple. Attack a pawn. He attacks my pawn, but that is defended. So I take his pawn. He takes there. We take back. And now we just have to fend off everything here. So we go here. And then king here. Yeah. Now we bring in the king. And immobilize everything. He's actually in Zugzwang right now. And after we go here, he has to go away, and then we just pick it off. Everything is immobilized, everything is under control. And we managed to squeeze out a win. Very proud of the comeback. It wouldn't have been possible if my opponent played a little bit faster. Let's go to the opening, where everything went wrong. So apparently already 0.8. Again, we're analyzing without an engine. I'm sick of engine play, but we do make use of the eval bar. So h4 here, h5. I think it's a very good move, even though engine doesn't agree. Knight here. Everything seems kind of normal, and maybe e5 was not the way to go here. Maybe, because after e5, I allow the knight to go to f4, sorry, f5, and pick away the only piece that actually is decently developed. So I think I should have gone knight f3 here. This is a simple development move, and after castles, um, bishop d3. Actually, everything kind of looks fine. Engine doesn't agree, but it's definitely better what I did play. Maybe even bishop e2. Or we could have even played something like this. Nope. And I think it's this. Nope. What is it, engine? What is it? Probably a4. Stupid move like a4. Okay. Wait. There's a possibility of d5 here. 6, 6. No, you don't take with that pawn. You take with this pawn. Why? After knight e5, takes, we have f4. That's for sure. That's for sure. I don't know if he wants to do this. It's probably the best move, but if he goes back, we can squeeze this out. Right? Engine doesn't agree with us. I wonder why. This stops everything. It just looks good. Okay. But okay, we play this move. He challenged the center. We overextended because of knight here, and we're just in deep trouble. What we could we have done something better? Um, Perhaps we could have played this. No, that wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't make sense. Or we could have tried to exchange queens, actually, because I know if knight f4 comes now, you can actually trade queens, then defend the bishop in any way, but the threat of this is now gone. Yeah, we can just maybe even put it here. Now it's a bit too much, I guess. But yeah, bishop f2, knight f3, castles, knight f3, and things would be a bit better. So the reason, yeah, we took with the wrong pawn, and position got gradually worse. We tried to make some counterplay, which we got. We got the bishop pair, and we tried to keep the bishop pair. Try to keep it closed, and our opponents got quite low on time. Here, however, I make some serious error by allowing, you know, massive counterplay. Maybe it was better to go knight d here, and if he goes here, look at this. We have a check here, and we take the knight. So instead of reacting to our opponents, which I often do, I should have gone for my own plan here. Even though this might not be the best way to go, if he is greedy, we would have, at least gained something. It's something I need to work on. Apparently here I'm totally losing, but I don't see how. Well, actually I did see how, because he has this. And if you go back, mate in two, well, I assume it's this, and then this. Wow, that's a mate. That's a mate. That's a mate. But opponent luckily didn't see that, and after being quite greedy here, and going here, I think he should have just gone back, and then everything would be quite fine. Or he should have gone for the mate. And this would still result into mate. Yes, it would. But he just didn't see it. He just didn't see it. What is the way to avoid mate here? I guess this. So now if check, I can just swoop and push the pawn. So yeah, it's a difficult position. You made it difficult for our opponent. It paid dividends to keep as much material on the board. Here we did slip up a little bit. I think he should have taken this first and then taken here. Yeah, that's the end game for you. And I should have, yeah, a critical mistake. I should have gone here first, and after the king moves away, then we take here, and then the win would have been a lot easier. A lot easier. So yeah, the end game, where the most difficult moves are made, but the least time is spent, or you have the least amount of time left. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.